from Berea maybe, and so we looked at it as a group and together, and we feel like this is a good thing. So Tad, floor is yours, and I don't need to say a whole lot.
All right.
Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. It's a pleasure to be with you today. I was telling Kevin, I mean, this is like coming back home. I'm sure if you've been around me, you know I'm from Lancaster, and I still have family there. And I lived about 6 miles, I grew about 6 miles from here, actually. And Danville was the town we came to buy groceries and all that. And so it's good to be back with you, and I appreciate the opportunity. I want to introduce my colleague. This is Sarah Stoll. And so Sarah and I work together in community and economic development. And 3 or 4 years ago, the city of Berea was actually the first one, I think, that reached out to us and said, you know, we would like to do a strategic plan for the community and have public input, town halls and all that. But before we do that, we just kind of need to have a get-together amongst us and see if we can't get on the same page about what we believe are priorities. And so there were 2 things that came out of that. First of all, the commissioners or council members that didn't know each other very well before the election got to have some frank discussions about what was on their mind and, you know, what they saw as the future for the city. And it was a really great session for them to get to know one another and get on the same page about some things, and then understand the things that they were going to have to work together on and work through. And then the second thing that came out of it, it laid the groundwork then to go to the public, get their input. And a lot of times we found that that reinforced what the council and commission was thinking. And so it worked really well. It's flowed seamlessly. So we've done that in Berea and Litchfield and Mayfield and a few other cities, and it's gone real well. So the purpose today is for us to have a discussion, a higher level discussion about the future of Danville and the direction that you're going. And along with that, I understand, and I'm sure that this is going to work this way, Earl, this is budget season too, so this might help to facilitate that process in terms of giving direction to staff of what your vision is going forward and what the priorities are. So with that being said, I don't know every one of you, so I would like to just go down and tell me your name and how long you've been on the commission and what's your favorite thing about Danville. Kevin.
Good quality of life things that are only found usually in bigger cities.
Great.
Donna, Kate,
We're acquainted.
work with you on the other side, so,
Yeah.
First term, and what I like about Danville is just, I like the people, I like the quality of life and how safe Danville is, but yet it has a lot of opportunity.
Great. Mayor.
I'm J.H. Atkins. We've known each other for several years now. I finished my 12 years on the council in my first couple of months as the mayor. And you said, what do you like about Danville? There are a lot of things I could say, but I'm going to stress this morning that I like the school systems that we have in our community.
Thank you.
Jenny Holland, and I've been here 2 years, kind of a newbie on the commission, and they took mine. But my favorite 2 things are probably, I was thinking the school systems and the people. It's the people that care about their community and give back.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, Rick Saris, 38-year resident, 6 years previous on the city commission, so back for a second stint. Own a small business here that covers most of the state. Glad to be here. Quality of life and progressive is what I see in this city.
Okay. Great. So thank you for sharing your comments. So you notice that Sarah is typing comments as we go through this process. And so we do that because we want, first of all, the transparency of it, but second of all, we want to make sure we get it right. So if there's something that we don't hear right, stop us. We'll update. This gives us a good set of notes to take with us as we start developing your plan.
So simple. I thought that was just doing that verbally.
Yeah.
Like a text to the screen
Yeah. But we've got that technology. I don't know about you. Siri doesn't know my voice. I mean, doesn't recognize the accent, but nonetheless, Sarah's doing that for us. So I want to start with a simple question. And the question is, I want you to think back, if you've been here that long, I want you to think back to about 2000, 2001, 2005. And I want you to think about all of the change that has occurred in the last 20 years. What's the biggest thing that you can think of in Danville over the past, if you've not been here 20 years, then the last 15, what's the biggest thing that has changed in Danville, positively or not as positively? What has changed about Danville since the early 2000s?
I think the makeup of our workforce, we're not nearly as industrial as we were at that time.
Okay, all right. Donna?
The diversity of people in town, and the traffic has definitely changed.
Yeah, okay.
A lot more traffic.
I'm going to switch down to Rick. What about you?
It always sounds bad when I say it, but going wet is a game changer. Brought a lot of restaurants, brought some of our young people back. There's a lot of live music going on, and it all started with going wet. It doesn't sound good to the dry people, but it's, in my opinion, it's true.
I don't know, because I don't think enough has changed. I think it's stayed the same, and we've not grown. I think the median age has really gone up, and we've lost a lot of our workforce age people.
Okay.
So it's not bad, but I'm kind of scared we're going to dry up and die at this rate. So I don't think it's changed much.
Okay,
But all the good things have stayed.
that's
You know?
good. Thank you. Mayor?
I put down that even McDowell Regional Medical Center, their decision to stay downtown and the fact that they're recognized as a regional medical facility now, brought lots of good ones right.
Okay. All right. So as you've thought about the past and how much it's changed, you realize that if you'd made most of those statements back in 2000, people would have kind of looked at you strange, right? I mean, who could have predicted some of the things that would have happened, right? So it's always easy to judge looking backwards than it is to think forward. And that's the challenge that we have today, and that's where I want to start. So if you're thinking ahead in the next 10 years, 15 years, what is the one thing that is the priority that must change?
I think we have to think regional.
Think regionally, okay? Good. What else? What's this place need to look like 15 or 20 years from now? The city.
Downtown has to be prospering, in my opinion.
Okay.
Along with that, I would say more walkability downtown.
Okay, good. Parks, okay. What else?
Opportunities for young people as far as maybe things through CCTC or through the college.
Okay.
Well, not that they have to go to college, but things to help people.
So would it be fair to say like career paths or, yeah, okay.
Stay in the
The airport,
Airport.
growth for the airport and that industry related to aviation.
Mm-hmm. Okay, what else?
A couple roads we'd like to build,
Yep.
reduce traffic. I think promote commercial growth.
And I'm not asking you for specifics, but what side of town would that be and where are you thinking?
What do we call this, Earl? The East Danville Connect? East Danville Connect. From Lexington Avenue over to 150.
Right, okay. Don't have to go through Goggin Lane anymore. Okay, cool. What else?
I guess 52 would be a part of that too, straightening out the curves in 52.
Okay. Any other ideas?
I like all the ideas of my fellow commissioners, but, and I think we're somewhat there, but not quite, and that's a preferred place to live outside of a metro area.
Okay? Yeah. Any other thoughts?
We have to have, housing, we have to have some more housing.
And I don't want to get way in the weeds on this, but I do want to ask, what kind of housing? Are we talking about all levels of housing, market rate housing, affordable housing, subsidized housing,
Yeah.
high-end executive housing?
Affordable, workplace and senior.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think, senior, obviously, I've got a mother and
Yep.
I know we're reading the book, but my thoughts are, you can have them perhaps in a nice place, I'm not saying assisted living, if they had options for more, townhomes or communities that are their own, they don't have really the one.
Mm-hmm.
And on housing, I just think we have a shortage of housing at all economic levels. And when if you put affordable housing up by itself, people think of just one end of the spectrum, but I think we're talking about, somebody mentioned workforce development housing. To me, that's at all socioeconomic levels.
So it's like the middle class, working class, the people that are, yes, okay, good. What else? What else does Danville need to be? Retail, okay?
Well,
Lexington,
yeah.
That's right, yeah.
I think we should, and it's gotten better, but I think we should lean into center a little more. Still sort of a antagonistic, relationship. For no good reason.
Oh, cut your mic, cut your mic.
Front on, sorry.
Sorry about that.
I was saying, I think we should lean into the fact that center is, downtown and is such a asset, both visually and economically and culturally. And for one, I never have been able to understand why there's the sort of antagonistic relationship between the two.
Okay.
I mean, really, just economic development and retention of industry is going to be number one if we're going to have any money to run the city, period. And that's, I think, most important.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
She didn't put Center, Can we ask her to put Center College on the list and then put BCTC as well, though?
She's doing a
Yeah.
lot better than
I-
I was.
And
I-
BCTC.
I'd also like to say that I hope that we can retain a clean community. I don't want to sell out to dirty industry.
Okay.
Clean community, which would be quality, part of quality of life.
Okay.
I want to continue to be safe. I think we are, but I don't want to hear about shootings every day or, you just want to keep it a safe community if we can.
Yes. What else?
Parks and Rec.
Parks and
trails,
Recs? Okay.
A water hole, swimming hole. They still say we need a pool.
Yeah.
I think infrastructure was up there, right? Making sure the water and sewer capacities were ahead of the game continually.
Okay. If you were looking at this list, and we can scroll back a little bit so that you can see all of them, I want you to, if you would, we provided some, if you need to use our pen and paper, that's fine, or just, I want you to jot down the 3 that you think are the most critical. So she'll scroll that just a little bit so that you can see.
Okay. So what time frame? Like today or like?
What is the most
20
important
years?
thing that we need to start thinking about and working on today to reach the goal that we want to have in 15 years?
Will we get a copy of this?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. No, I think you should just print, no.
We can do that too. So
No,
whatever
I'm
you
just
need,
joking.
we'll do it.
I'm just joking.
So this would be 2038, 2043. Boy, that seems a long time, doesn't it? But 2000 doesn't seem that long ago either, you know? This is what we're talking about. All right. So if I may, Rick, can we start with you this time? What are
Okay.
the three?
Think regionally.
All right?
Preferred place to live, sorry.
That's okay. You can vote for your own.
Yeah. Parks and Rec.
All right. Kevin?
Had economic development, just generally, and I included regionalism in that, but that's cheating, I know, but.
No, that's okay. People cheat all the time when I'm talking. It's all right.
Parks and Rec was another I had, and affordable housing or housing in general.
Sorry about that. She got caught on the carpet. I got called on the carpet in front of the commission. Get on that. You ever have that happen, Earl? I'll put traffic cones around there.
That triggers the trap door.
I understand that. All right. Jean?
Well, I had the economic development regionally as number one, which was tied into infrastructure, water capacity, and the East Connector.
Oh, you just bridged 7 there.
Well, those were under, it's
I
all
understand.
about regional economic development, because, do I have to pick those separately then?
I'm going to give you 3 votes. So regionally, economic development and infrastructure, is there one that you want to take out and put back in? I'm a hard negotiator.
Well, I guess
What's the most
Parks.
important? What's the most important?
well, the economic development regionally was tied into all the others.
Yes.
So,
And that's the point. They start driving each other, right? So, okay. Thank you. I'm just giving you a hard time. It's all good. Donna?
Regional, think regionally and housing and parks and trails.
Okay. Mayor? What do you think?
I had the regional economic development.
Oh,
Also, I have housing, and I put down a trained workforce. We
Oh,
have
workforce, okay.
issues.
All right. All right. So actually, these 3 all tie together, correct? This is really quality of life issues. Would you agree with that? And then that leaves housing and workforce development. So if I were summarizing, and you tell me if I'm incorrect, really the drivers for the next 15 to 20 years will be the how nimble the city is in terms of thinking regionally about economic development and creating the infrastructure that's necessary to get there. That's what I heard, right? The other one was quality of life. Why people want to live here. Not just for a job, but for the quality of life that the community presents. You know, and it even goes back to what you mentioned, Donna, the safety and, you know, the neighborhood feel and family feel and all that. And then we're looking at workforce development and housing. That's kind of the order that I heard. Does that sound? And I'm going to cheat with you. We're going to combine. We're going to vote for each one of these. Is that okay?
Wouldn't, you could put workforce development and housing under economic development as well?
They do.
I think.
The truth of the matter is, these all fit into a bundle. It's really hard to separate them out. But when we get through with this, you're going to have to make some choices. So I want to make sure that we get the top priorities up here on the list. All right, so I kind of know in my mind where you're going with this. So This is the vision. This piece with the regional economic development infrastructure is really what drives the economy and the future existence of the city actually, right? These other things support that, the workforce development, the education, the housing, having a good place to live, having safe neighborhoods, quality of life, and all of that drive the economic development piece. So we're going to start with this as a foundation as where we're going, all right? So now we're going to work backwards. I'm just going to kind of hang this here for right now. We'll come back to it as we need to. All right. So I'm going to talk for just a few minutes about where you are today. Earl and Ashley were kind enough to send me a list of all the projects and things that you've got going on. And there's a lot, right? So the discussion that I want us to have next is in the coming budget year. Everything's important, but what are the things that are on your mind that you would like to see accomplished, either finished in the next year or move forward in the next year? And let's just make a working list of those. What are the things that are important to you? And I'm going to give you a couple of minutes to just jot those down, if you will, and then we'll kind of go through the same exercise and kind of see where everybody is on it. So if you would take a couple of minutes to do that, I'd appreciate that. This coming year, and I will mention, it can be something that's carried forward, that's currently underway, that is a priority. Okay. Let's start. What are the things that are underway that are important to you or priorities to you for the coming year? Okay, so Jeannie, can we start with you?
Sure. I'll do my top one.
Yeah, everybody give one. Yeah, and then we'll go around.
Well, I don't think we're going to see any growth here until we have a future land use map in the comp plan. They've never really made a true future land use map. It's existing, so it's set Danville up for no growth, pretty much.
Okay.
So it's pretty scary. So that, I'm glad that's finally going to be looked at.
Okay. Donna?
I would like to see us actually finish some projects that are underway, complete those projects on time,
and don't overpromise. So,
And you may wonder, well, why is Sarah typing and why are you writing? Because this helps me to organize in my own mind, okay? Finish complete projects underway, on budget, on time.
right,
Is that right?
right.
Kevin?
If I was gonna pick one, I guess would be, our sewer plant that we've got under construction. It's currently under construction just now.
Rick?
Yeah, I'm going to tag off of Commissioner Peak and be a little more specific. Completion of the streetscape and then downtown development to follow.
All right. Mayor?
We have a new EDA and a new EDC.
Okay.
And the left doesn't know what the right's really responsible for doing, so we got to get the two of them together and start making some progress.
Okay. All right. Now, we'll have a free-for-all. What other ideas did you have that you listed that we haven't listed yet?
That aren't necessarily ongoing projects or.
No, that are still the I
Oh,
asked you
okay.
to make a list of the current ongoing projects. And so, I'm sure we can fill up 3 or 4 pages, but give me a few.
If you don't mind, I'll start. It'd be aquatics and parks and rec in general. We've got some projects going on with pickleball and tennis courts, et cetera.
All right. All right. Y'all don't have anybody over here playing pickleball, do you?
Oh, man.
And it's caused a resurgence of, I want to put up there beside pickleball, horseshoes. A lot of folks are asking about putting pickleball courts out. Oh, you don't play Same people play both of them, but at the same time, though,
This is not either or, right?
Yeah, that's right,
This is and, okay?
It's just so funny, because they were asking, I said, oh, I've not had a conversation about horseshoes in a long time, but, okay.
Great. What else?
I think the cemetery, I mean, I know that's simple, or it seems simple, cemetery committal shelters, I think that's something you could accomplish. And move off the plate. maybe.
The Public Works Building.
Public Works Building, yeah.
Trying to let him finish. We need to do something about housing and homelessness. And I put beside that government and community. It's gonna take all of us working together on that one.
And this is small, but we really need to get that, a really high-quality community landing page. And we can work together not only with the CBB, maybe they can jointly fund it, or, the new development corporation. Because Danville as a whole is not advertising itself outwardly in an organized way. And I think that would really help when people are looking at our community.
And may I ask a favor as a longtime friend? I've been on your webpage, but I haven't paid attention. whatever you do, would you please put the location of City Hall and a phone number to call? Because every time I go somewhere, it seems like 90% of the cities I go to, they don't have the street or directions or who to call on the front page, on every page. That request and advice was free. It would tremendously help.
Could you do a QR code?
Yes,
web
it's
page
something.
is what
Yeah,
I would like to
exactly.
see. Because I went to Murray or whatever, and
Yeah.
they had little cards in their community that you picked up everywhere, and you flip, and I've still got a copy of it, and one is what's happening in your area, and the other is, here's all your information you need to know.
Yeah.
And it really was streets, it was really a nice, I think
Yeah.
maybe we could do that.
Yeah. Mayor,
I want to get BCTC in our local schools more aligned, more connected. The kids can go to BCTC and get the first 2 years of college almost free. And they also can come out of high school or spend a little time at BCTC and have a skill, a trained craft in a sense.
okay. What else? For this coming year?
New job development, everything from smaller to larger.
Let me ask a question, and this is just for just a topical discussion amongst you, and because I don't know, I'm curious. So what are the things that the city currently has in place that you're aware of that encourages entrepreneurship, startups, retail business, new business, small business? Do y'all have a package that you put together that the city and the economic development folks work on at all? I'm just curious.
I don't know, do they still do Jump Start, or did that
They used to
get
do Jump Start,
discontinued?
but I don't know if they do that now.
Okay. All right. Didn't mean to chase a rabbit. It's just something that's interesting when people talk about business growth and economic development. What are you doing, Mayor?
I had on my list about the drug issues in our community.
Okay.
I don't know what as a city we can do, but there are a lot of agencies that say they're working on this. And it'd be nice if we could get some communications going between those agencies and ourselves.
Okay.
In our budget, we've got to find some ways to put, in my opinion, I should say, some monies aside to address and to assist folks who are working on these issues. That's the drug thing and the housing thing as well.
I would like to see more communication between the city, the county, the schools, the hospital. I mean, I think in order for you in the, all of the parts, the tourism, economic development, so that you can't, I don't think your community can excel unless you all work together and are on the same page or close to the same page. And citizens, I'll put that in there, citizens have to have a part.
Okay. So share with me a little bit. I want to delve into this, the working together. In your opinion, are all the players within the community collaborating and working together, or is it just kind of everybody's doing their thing and it needs to ramp up? Is that what you were saying?
I feel they do their own thing. I think we need to work. I mean, that's just my opinion.
Yeah, sure.
I think schools, I mean, all of us should communicate together for the best Danville.
Okay. All right. What are some other ideas we haven't talked about yet in terms of this coming year's, not just budget, but what your priorities are in projects and things that are ongoing or that you'd like to see happen within the next year? Anything else?
I know Josh is working on sidewalks on one particular street. I think I'd like to get to where all kids have a safe sidewalk to walk to school.
What street was that?
Baughman, right?
The Baughman that you're currently working?
Of course, we said walk to school, some kids.
Let me take you down to Spade. You ought to see the kids coming out of Wilderness after school. It's crazy. Kind of 30.
Something I will mention, so you can put in your toolkit. So, Kentucky Transportation Cabinet is doing free all-day workshops on complete streets, which involves bike paths, trails, sidewalks, the whole thing. And we put a landing page or post on our website, but it's also on KYTC. And so those are happening regionally over the next couple of months. And that might be something, since you mentioned that, that'd be a good resource for you.
Thank you.
Okay, what else?
Playing off the sidewalks, securing the funding to continue the work of the Trails Alliance.
I think we have to talk about the pool. Because it'll, I mean, whether the one we have works or what we do, where we go. We need a meeting on the parks.
Okay. The pool. swimming
Pool issue, we need to meet about the parks and, because it will be here before you turn around. Are we gonna,
Yep.
what are we gonna do?
So is this a funding thing, or is this a building a new one, or is this a reopening?
It's a discussion, I think.
A
all of us
discussion,
need to
okay.
have about
All right.
all the parks and the pool in particular. Splash pad.
And Donna, I don't want to go in too much in depth with this. So this discussion, is this something that the mayor and commission needs to have, or does this need to be happening with staff, or does this need to be happening with the community, or what
All
kind of
three.
discussion?
I think all three.
Okay, all right.
My opinion.
We have a parks master plan.
Yes.
And we haven't mentioned this, but we purchased an elementary school. We calling it the Jenny Rogers Community Center. So work on that this year, getting things going in that location would be beneficial.
Okay.
So we can go home. Staff's got enough to keep busy for 5 years now, right? That's right. I was off the record.
I
You didn't hear it?
didn't hear a thing.
Good.
Sarah didn't record it either, did you? Nope, it didn't, it never happened. What else?
We got the codes enforcement lady sitting back there, and so it made me think about, we have property in our city that, I say, needs to be condemned, needs to be taken down, needs to be improved, needs to be whatever, but we have some property issues, and shout out to codes enforcement, they've been working real hard on it, but it's just a complicated process, and if there's a way to change that process, we need to know more about how to get it done.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Stormwater issue, just make sure, I mean, we've got some issues in Danville with stormwater. I think that's in the budget.
And let me ask you, just for my own clarity about that, I saw a list of projects that are underway. So is stormwater something that's currently already being addressed, and there's more things in the pipeline? Is that correct? Is that right, Earl? Just want to be sure.
Stormwater is happening programmatically,
Yeah.
All right.
but we do each basin, so like she's doing some progress on some of that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I got you. Just to be
Which I
sure I'm
think is
on the
happening.
page. All right. Okay, what else? Let me ask a question. So there's I've got 2 pages of stuff, and I think that it's a fair statement, and you can correct me. I think it's a fair statement to say they're all important. And this is a city that has lots of irons in the fire and lots of things moving forward. They're all important, correct? Which 3 which three would have the most impact? Oh, yeah, see, we're making a big leap here, Mayor, big leap.
I just thought of another one I'd like to put up there some.
Okay, all right, what is it?
Coordination of community events. They're being done by government, they're being done by private citizens, they're being done by downtown folks.
Gotcha.
How do we coordinate those things? It's just a QR code, but
QR Queen, right? That's it. All right, anything else? So you see what I'm getting ready to ask you to do here. So they're all important, and I don't have any doubt that all or most will be included in some way in the budgeting process going forward. But what I want to know is, if you had to pick the three that would have the most impact of getting the city of Danville from where it is in this current budget year to what you just told me was your vision of the things that are most important, what would they be?
See that list all at once.
Okay, so we'll scroll back up. And I know you can't read my writing, but she's got, so we'll just kind of, if you don't mind, we'll take 3 or 4 minutes here. I'll let her scroll all the way down, and then we'll scroll all the way back up. And try to choose, no, don't try, choose the 3 things that are most critical to moving that list forward. How are you going to get there in 15 years? What are the 3 things that have to happen? Regional economic development infrastructure, quality of life, housing. If these things are going to be true, if this is going to be the end result in 15 or 20 years of improvement in these areas, what are the 3 things you have to do now to make this happen? See, they asked me so I could ask the hard question. Earl told me not to ask soft questions. He said, let's get down to it. He's grinning. He didn't do that, but that's what I do, so, you know. It's a hard question, right?
I got one answer for you.
All of them?
Yeah.
That one's off the table, sorry.
All right.
And so listen, let me explain this too, and this is for the benefit of department heads and staff too. We're not making choices of what their priorities are going to be. That's not what we're asking here. We're not pigeonholing and somebody's more important than the other. That's not it. But your role is to think big. And you all are making the decision that's going to set the path to reach that. So what are the 3? What are the 3? Yeah. Y'all made me feel welcome when I walk in here. I hope I have the same reaction walking out. All right.
Could you go down one more time, please? I'm fighting between 2.
And this time, no cheating. We're not combining 5 answers into one. I want to know what you think. And I know that's hard to do. I know. All right. Is everybody finished? Kevin, you've been pondering.
I have been pondering.
We have an answer to that.
My 3,
Give me one, and then we'll go down the road
Okay.
and come back. All right?
sure. The one that referenced new jobs, large and small.
All right. Donna?
Communication.
Okay, let me ask a question before I go any further. Are those the top ones? Is that the top one?
Communicate.
Okay, all right. So I'm just going to call all these one. All right. Mayor, I'm going to come to you last. All right? I'm going to let you off the hook. Not really. Jeannie,
Left, right?
what's your number one?
What's my number one? Well, what if it got taken?
That's good. It gets another vote. What is it?
Oh, the job growth. What's my number one?
All right.
Large and small.
Okay. Rick.
Aquatics, parks and rec to include trails.
Okay. All right. Mayor?
You mind repeating the question again? Just joking. I had put down the EDA/EDC. Because they just hold the key to so many of these other things on the list, in my opinion, but
Okay.
I have some other ones.
We'll get to those. I'm not going to ask you all to waste your time. All right?
Settle down, James.
All right. So I know that you had some other really good ideas in terms of top priorities. So what's the next one, Rick?
Ditto on communication. That was my second.
Gene?
You want my second, but not my third?
Yes, I do.
Oh, okay. My second was the Parks and Rec and aquatics and.
Mayor, I'm going to let you go.
Okay, be the comp plan and comprehensive plan.
Donna?
Thank you, would be regional/community/citizen meetings.
And Donna, just for clarity, are these meetings for the purpose of discussing the future, getting people's input about how they want? Okay,
Yes.
perfect.
How we go forward.
Kevin?
My second one was housing.
All right. All right, your third priority, Donna? Or the third thing that would have the most impact?
Have the most impact to accomplish our goals.
Yep.
Listening and working together, maybe communication, but working together after you have those.
Jeannie?
Well, you can't have jobs without the workforce, so the workforce development and retention, particularly retaining our students and youth that they'll want to come back.
Okay. Rick?
Back to job development, small companies to large.
Okay. Kevin?
Communication.
Mayor?
I had communications and housing together, you said I couldn't combine, so, let's go with housing then, since we got communication so many times up there.
Okay. All right. So, are there any that we didn't rank 1 through 3 that you have now had time to consider that you think were important and you wish you had said them? Did we get them? All right.
No,
Okay, Mayor,
I can't say it, 'cause you said I couldn't say all of it.
you can. You can.
We've danced around a lot of things that are infrastructure and growth. I don't think we want to forget about supporting our education system, all the way from elementary school to college. BCTC, of course, is in that.
Okay. What others did you have on your list that we didn't mention?
He said infrastructure, right? Okay. I mean, that's key, whether it's the East Connector or the water sewer capacity.
Okay. Anything else? All right. Here's the burning question.
One more. I'll do
Yes,
one
sir.
more.
Go ahead, Rick.
Sorry, I hate to be a hog, but I think what's important to us here in Danville needs to continue is the arts.
All right. Good. Anything else? Now, having taken all of this, the vision, and now these one-year priorities, now I want you to narrow it down. What does the city budget have a direct impact on? Because there's a difference between lending your voice and the power of your office and convening power and whatever prestige being an elected official is. Okay? To be an advocate for education is great. To be an advocate for the arts is great. Does the city, so now I'm differentiating between the budget and what you actually spend money on having an impact. So what are the things that the city directly would have? These are hard questions, right? We don't always think of them this way. But you have power and influence as an elected body and as a position. But the thing you have direct financial impact on is different. And so to give the staff and the community some indication of what the most important things that you can have direct impact on by spending their taxpayer dollars, that's what I wanted to drill down to now, okay? So you can scroll back up and let them look at the things that they've given before. And we're not making a decision about somebody's important and somebody's not. That's not what we're doing. We're saying this is how we can allocate our dollars to have an impact. We can go all the way. Let's scroll all the way back up, and then just work through them. And we'll take about 5 minutes here, because this might take a little bit of time. Then we'll take a little break. All right?
Ted, can I ask you another question on our current assignment?
Yep.
To me, budgetary impacts is that we give money to these different groups, but at the same time, we also lend personnel. For example, on communications, I was gonna put down our new hire, but we have a communications person. And to me, that would be a direct input, because the salary and benefits that's costing the city.
So I'm not going to grade a quiz on this, and I understand the differentiation. I do.
Okay.
And that's fine. If the city contributes somehow, that's a budget impact. If you
Yes.
lend someone in support of something going on within the community, that is a direct impact on the city's budget, because you're sponsoring their time, or you're doing in-kind contributions and that sort of thing. So yeah, any of that's fine.
Okay.
What I'm trying to sort out here are things like education.
Yeah, we don't get much money.
So, very important that everybody work together. But does any money come out of your budget that's a priority in support of that? Okay? That's what we're trying to get to.
I'll start you off.
All right?
EDA and EDC, a lot of money and lots of time from staff and commission.
So that's budget money and staff?
Yes.
Okay. All right. What's next? What else? Safety? Yep. Okay. What else?
Communications, try to bring them all together. It's one of her assignments, and to improve our social media presence. Scheduling of things, trying to prevent conflicts in scheduling. We just had a meeting, the city manager and I, with some folks, and we had 3 groups that were planning a summer entertainment series for downtown Danville. So getting the 3 of them together really helped to prevent them having stuff on the same Tuesday or Thursday night.
Yep.
I
What
think
else?
what's important to the budget, money spent is infrastructure.
And then looking at our budget for the Parks and Rec and how we can do the most with what we have.
And in your infrastructure, you're talking about water and sewer as well?
Yeah, anything that the staff brings to us is important because as you stated, we love Parks and Rec, we love education, we love the arts, but the city has to be solid. We have to have a solid base.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably didn't mention it, should have, but retaining our current employees, reviewing our compensation packages. There you go.
Yeah. We're definitely gonna pay a lot of money in getting the comp plan done and the map that included.
Yeah, I put retain some current employees because there's some, I don't know.
Hey, Earl, you wanna pay attention, Earl?
That's good.
Earl, he looked right at you when he said that, man.
Actually, I was thinking of the chief.
Oh, you just walked in.
What else? Anything else? All right.
Wait. We just finished that big fire station next door. I know there's still some more expenses coming along with that. Increase,
Do you want to include that in safety? Or you want me, its own category?
Yeah, you can put fire and police and safety, yes. Because that involves some new additional staffing as well as training for the staff.
How's your all's EMS set up? Is all that incorporated county? Okay, perfect, thank you.
Certainly, going along with number 1, economic development. I don't mind spending money towards that. So you got number 1 was EDA playing together, all under the umbrella of economic development.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, and a lot of the stuff works together. They're all
Yeah.
interconnected. All right. Direct impact on cities' budget and resources. What else?
I think, again, I'm going to do parentheses by number 6, Parks and Rec, and quality of life is going to help economic development and current residents enjoying where they live.
All right. Anything else? All right, so now we have taken the vision of 15 or 20 years. We've looked at the immediate things that are going on, and we've talked about the things that have the most impact in the coming year. And now we've sorted out the things that the city has a direct budgetary resource impact on, correct? So this will lay the foundation then for us to develop a working plan to move forward. It will also give some structure and guidance to the city manager and staff in terms of how they prioritize their own departments, right? That's what we're trying to get to. So I want to move now and I want to talk about the longer-term needs. And I'm not talking about a 20-year time frame here. I'm talking about a 3 to 5, 5 to 8 year frame.
Mr. Ted, can we take a break?
Yes, you may. So if we could, 10 minutes, is that okay with everybody? Sure. All right, cool. And thank you all for hanging in there. All right? So just to kind of update you on where we are in our process and timeline. So we've made really good progress, and that's because you've been engaged and responsive to what I'm asking. So we've really got 2 more things that I want to do, and then we'll do whatever you want to do. And my intention is to wrap up here in the next 45 minutes or so, depending on how the conversation goes. And if we want to extend it, we certainly can, because I'm committed to you all day, all right? So in case you don't know what you just did, I want the big vision. I want to know where your all's head is in terms of where the city's going. That's a very valuable thing, very worthwhile exercise. But I want to bring it back to where you have a direct impact, budget-wise, okay? And so now what I would like to do is I'd like to tee up the immediate future that you're facing. And what are the things that you need to put in place either this budget cycle or in the coming next budget cycle to launch into the next 3 to 5 years, okay? So this is different than the big vision. This is different than the current budget year right now. What are the things that are on your mind more short-term, intermediate term, year after next? We need to get started on this because these are things that have been pressing us for a while and we just haven't paid enough attention to them. So if that makes sense, I'd like to start there, and I'd like for you to take a couple of minutes and just jot down some of the more immediate needs that the city needs to focus on. This will also give the city manager and staff kind of an insight into your thinking of what the priorities should be and what the challenges that are coming up are. All right, so we'll take a couple of minutes for that. Another minute or so. And as you're thinking of these ideas, I'll go ahead and give you the next piece of homework so we don't have to come back to it. I want you to jot down what you think is a reasonable timeline from start Everybody ready? Mayor, may I start with you this time?
I put down the compensation package, needs to be reviewed and updated. And along with that, identifying a rationale for keeping our current positions or need to increase or reduce positions.
All right, and so, do you have an idea in mind for? Sorry about that, thank you. There. So if we're talking about timeline here, how long do you think, are you envisioning that? Is that a budget priority for this year, or is it in the coming year, or what time frame?
I think it's in the current budget right now, but I think it's something we need to do probably every 2 years to stay at least up to date about our knowledge about what's the current market rate for
Okay,
our positions and positions that might be needed later on.
okay, excellent. All right. Kevin, what about you?
This kind of goes along with that. I think we need to look again at the feasibility of getting Earl an assistant city manager.
And so what would be the time frame for doing something like that? Within the next year, within the next couple of years? Okay. Donna?
I mean, I think for communication needs for citywide, I think we need either a new website or a new community website, and I think we need to have better communication somehow outwardly and to our citizens.
Okay.
Might be priming somebody for that position.
Okay, so is that a 1 year, 2 year, 3 year priority?
In
What
my
do you think?
mind, 6 months, no, I mean, I know it's a year or, but I would hope that you could get that.
So if it was done by 2024, does that sound reasonable?
Yeah.
Can I talk
And I
about that
think
real
it's
quick?
Yes,
under-
yes, you can, yeah.
Because I know Commissioner Holland said something, and I know you're kind of out of the loop in terms of, because you're just now coming on board. We have the idea of the community landing page
Right,
that,
I've heard
that the city staff has been working on. We've already done an RFP for that. Melanie is taking the point on that project, and which includes a community-facing website using the city's address, but taking advantage of the metrics and the analytics of Google to market the community. And that is actively underway and will be done probably in 6 months, which doesn't necessarily require the city building a new webpage for its own self, but we will be adding a layer that is that advertising, marketing aspect of it, which would include better imagery. Would it be a center point for all those different organizations, including CVB? It's fairly comprehensive, and if you want to sit down and go through it, I'll be happy to do that. A good example, if you want to scribble it down, is Georgetown, Texas.
Yeah.
Melanie's got a couple of others that are also good examples, but if you look at their website, it is everything from the airport links off of there, to the library, to the schools, all your economic development. It's a center point, and it's just the beginning. Then when you're talking about what the city services, it hops down into your traditional city webpage. But that forward-facing, and so that's our goal, and that is actually what we are actively working on. And like I said, we've done an RFP, we've gotten the results of that back. We do have a vendor that she's negotiating or kind of managing what that final scope would look like, so that we have better control of the cost. The next step for her will be carrying that to the EDC, asking them what part of their marketing budget are they going to put towards it. So that would be a question for those folks. And then we'll come back to you probably in a month or less, and then for your authorization to proceed. So
And
so
I'm
that
not
is
saying
actively
maybe
ongoing.
not a new website perhaps, maybe it's just communication, and that's not even something that's gonna cost a lot.
No.
I think if I don't know, the
Right.
citizens definitely don't know.
I agree with that. Yeah.
So I think that we just have to communicate better.
Yeah.
In some form, and maybe it's already there, but that's
Yeah.
my thoughts.
Let me.
No, I just want to make sure that you all know that
Yeah.
that is actively changing.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay.
right.
Let me ask this question then, Donna, and to the rest of you too. So with that being said, is it an unreasonable time expectation to say that over the next 18 months, we want to make some significant progress with the landing page, with getting our communication strategy straightened out? That's not something that's going to happen between now and June 30, right?
No, realistic, maybe December. I mean, would that be realistic? If they're already underway, it should be realistic.
Okay,
But-
so,
Okay.
all right. Okay. Very good. Good. What else? Let's see, I've got Kevin and Donna and the mayor. Jean.
This is talk about putting things in the budget, right?
Yeah, this is talking about if we're going to accomplish some of these things. No, it's not even about accomplishing these things. This is, what do you think needs to start this year or shortly to have an impact over the next 3 to 5 years, let's say?
Right. I think we all just want to get together and do almost like a strategic plan for the aquatics and the Parks and Rec, and put out a calendar and list our priorities and list how much money we have, and, keep that rolling. And the city's done a good job, getting the smaller projects rolling. Well, they're not really smaller projects, but not the pool yet, but yeah.
All right, and so,
We need to get ourselves on a schedule. Like, we don't know what our priorities are. We don't know what our full budget is. And,
okay, so let me approach this one
How to-
in 2 phases.
yeah.
So there's the actively getting together and meeting and discussing and strategizing and budgeting and all that sort of thing. So what is a reasonable time frame for that if you started July 1?
Well, I think you could have little goals each year with a long-term plan over 5 years, is what I'd like to see us do.
Okay, so let me rephrase the question. So we're going to say that the planning for this and implementation could take over 5 years?
No, we need to do that in the next month.
Oh,
I think.
okay. All
At
right.
least start the discussion and look at what our questions are.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So what I was hearing was not accurate, so I'll
Okay.
confess. So what I was hearing was two different things. I was hearing this budgeting planning thing for the aquatic center, and then actually building the aquatic center and swimming pool and all that. Those were two
Yeah.
different things.
Yeah.
So what is the time frame then for accomplishing this, do you think?
I'd want to ask an engineer,
Okay,
because I don't really know.
we have two.
Yeah.
Any
If
ideas
it's
how long
like 2
that
years
process
or-
would take?
Building aquatics, opening probably 5 years. Opening aquatics, doing aquatics, facility.
And I'm not asking you to commit. I don't mean to put
No,
you on the
it
spot.
depends on what you're talking about, and it depends on how long you labor over the decision. So, if you collectively agree that Jenny Rogers, for example, is a good alternative solution in the short term, and you want to build there, you own the property, so it's a matter of design and then build. So you're looking at a 24-month, but that's operating on the assumption that you all are good with the pricing, and there's no revisions necessarily to the whole overall scope. Things like that come into play, and that's where your time lapse a lot of times comes into the lamenting over what to do. And a lot of times that is, tied to money and the absorption by you guys on what those costs are.
And there's a
Okay.
new commission also.
Right.
So that's something we all five
You'll
have
have to
not
work
discussed
through.
together yet.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this. So is it reasonable to say that this is probably toward the longer end of this intermediate, it's like 2028? That's what we're kind of shooting for, is in 5 years we want to.
Built, probably.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
No, hopefully not.
Shorter than that?
I think shorter. We'll get on the same page.
Okay, so what year?
Say 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years is totally reasonable if you, understanding you're spending, you're going to be spending money, right? And that's going to be a couple $1 million to downplay the whole thing. You know, you're really looking at even the Jenny Rogers investment, which was the cheapest, was several $1 million, right?
But we already have some money budgeted, right, for aquatics?
Not, we have money towards the master plan that we had budgeted this year, which was like commitment of like $8 million towards the
Yeah.
overall end product. But that included all the things that you have
Yeah.
ongoing, such as, you know, your fairgrounds development, things like that.
Yeah. I'm just backing up Commissioner Holland here. The discussion's been going on for a long time, so sooner the better.
Yeah, so we have, the 20th of March was the Parks Planning Workshop that we had budgeted or put into the budget calendar. Was on the 20th, so that's in, you know, a week and a half.
Okay. So if it's okay with you, and I'm interpreting correctly, I'll just put, starting with the 23-24 budget, that hopefully significant progress toward completion by 2026. Is that fair? Okay. We're guessing here, okay? Let's see. Rick.
Yep, simply completion of current projects by year's end.
And by completion of current projects, can you be a little more specific?
Yeah, streetscape, new fountain at Wisiger Park, tennis courts. I know these things are going to happen, but I think that as our chalkboard gets heavy, we need to start erasing some things. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
What else? Did you have something else besides just streetscape? Thought you had a third thing up there, Brother Rick. Oh, yeah, part of streetscape, but whatever. Probably
So-
identify it separately.
I don't want to limit this, so I didn't put any detail, just the completion of current projects related to streetscape and
Yeah.
park, whatever.
Tennis courts, pickleball.
Gotcha.
We'll put that back in there. By the way, I'm going to take this opportunity when the mayor said a resurgence of horseshoes. I don't guess you've been to central Illinois where horseshoes is something you eat.
Okay.
Okay, all right. All right, so let's, what's another one? And I'll just open the floor.
I had one more. I think, just stating that we're going to really be strong in our financial support of the Development Corporation.
Is that the
Economic
Corporation?
Development. We've gone to they've gone to 3 full-time employees that are going to be not only tackling new jobs, there's a workforce specialist. So I think we really need to give really good support to that organization, because that checks off a lot of things on our list there.
So this would be from, starting with the 2023-24 budget forward, correct?
Yes.
All right.
Look at our facilities.
Say that again.
Facilities, I know they probably have a facilities plan or master plan, but like the police department renovation, I'm sure they need more space. The Public Works building, you know, the one that they're in currently, just to look at all of the facilities and see, in Bunny Davis, and, you know, where do you go from here and how long will that take? Just to complete some of them. or look
All
at
right,
them.
so do you want to call this An inventory and status of facilities,
Yes.
that's what we're talking
Sounds
about.
good.
And then after you do that, then you can kind of prioritize the projects.
And I think that's parks too.
Okay. Inventory, status of city properties and facilities. Is that fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Next. Anything else?
It was mentioned by Commissioner Peak, the coordination of efforts of all the different players in the city, from the EDC to city to county governments. I think that's a high priority and should be completed by the end of the summer.
So communication, collaboration, cooperation.
And still go back to, and I guess that's facilities, but the cemetery buildings, pavilions, I don't know how, but that seems like that could be done. And a lot of people ask for that. And I know it's in the process, though.
You got that working too, don't you?
Okay. So this communication could be like this year, right, 2023? The inventory, what did we agree on that, Donna? I've forgotten.
I mean,
Could that be done like in the next 12 months? Like,
oh, yeah, by,
does that sound reasonable?
I think by fall.
Okay, so by the end of this year? Okay. Anything else? What else?
That coordination, collaboration
Yep.
with all players of the city, should we also put slash county?
Yeah, so what I did was communication, Sarah needs to modify. Communication, collaboration, cooperation among the community players. So that takes care of
Yeah.
city, county, schools, all of them. Okay. Just doing a better job of collaborating. Yes?
I have no idea really how to phrase this, but we need to keep urging the Department of Education to do something with the KSD land, or allow something to be done with the KSD campus.
All right, so out of ignorance, I'm familiar with KSD and the
Right,
property.
right.
What is the city's role in that, in terms of, do y'all provide financial support, or is it just something that you work with them in cooperation, trying to get them to do things or work through things?
Well, in this case, you know, they want to have plans to shrink their campus and have all this excess land, and as a city official, I would kind of like to have some say over how that's going to be developed, I guess. Not necessarily us doing it, but
Yes, the oversight, or
Right.
as a partner, or
Right.
as a agency, overseeing agency,
Yeah.
kind of, okay. So if I said that it is, what I heard you say is that KSD campus needs some attention with some city accountability or oversight. Is that fair?
that's fine, yeah.
I'll make sure I get it right. I think I understand what you're saying. So they're trying to shrink their footprint and then develop the balance of the land, correct?
That was the original plan, yeah. I'm
Okay.
not sure.
And so when is this coming about, and when you expect?
That's the thing, they've been talking about it for about 8 years or so, I'll put it in the 5-year range.
Okay, so let's just say starting in 2023, and hopefully with an outcome in 2027? So it's an ongoing, is that
It
fair?
would be, yeah, I think that's optimistic probably, but that's, who knows, so that's good enough.
Okay, all right. What else?
I had added to my list training,
Training
yeah.
for who?
Providing appropriate training for city staff,
Okay?
the fire and police in particular, but also all employees, and that includes the commission. And I wrote down ethics training, diversity and inclusion training, and then this new thing they're calling hospitality training, that to me is just about being able to greet and,
That's Miss Sarah's bailiwick.
oh, is it? Okay,
Yes.
okay.
I'll tell you a little bit about her when we get done.
Yeah. Put fire in there as well.
So Mayor, is this, I'm assuming that this is not, sorry?
I was gonna have to put, you got police, but I also wanna put the fire department in there too.
Okay.
They all have required trainings, and we take care of the required, those types of things, I think. But codes enforcement has training and all kinds of.
Okay. Well, let me just ask this for clarity. So
All right.
would it be fair, instead of saying specifically police, fire, code enforcement, are you talking about all city staff or just the departments that have required training?
I'm talking about all in a sense.
Okay, why don't we change that, if that's okay, Sarah, to all? City for all city staff, and add the commissioners are on there.
And another example would be that, we have BCTC sitting out there. And we have employees of the city who do not have an associate's degree or may not have up-to-date training in their field of expertise.
Right.
And if it's that locally provided and as cheap as it is, we ought to develop some type of incentive program to get our employees to consider taking some additional trainings.
Okay.
KLC gives us lots of training to certain parts of our staff and employees, but not to everybody.
Sure. So what are we talking about in terms of timeline with this? Would that like be starting with in the 2023-24 budget and moving forward, ongoing?
I would say yes, at least to investigate it, because BCTC is just a very valuable institution in our community that we're not taking advantage of it. When I say we, I'm talking about the community. I don't mean just the city.
Sure. All right.
We're gonna have to build a new fire station at some point. When would we get started on that, Earl? I mean, I have a clue.
about that, Doug and
I didn't know if it was like a near-term start or
you're
further
trying
out.
to. That's probably 3 to 5 before you all put that really at your level, because it's gonna take, budget impacts probably can be more immediate, because you're gonna have to staff up.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to hit 1 year where you're trying to hire, 10 new firefighters. So you need to think about how you implement that over a time period so that you've got staff and a truck and all the equipment.
Right.
And then build the station to accommodate it. Ultimately, that's probably the most economical approach. That way you're absorbing the operating expenses before you add the capital.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah.
So what are you talking about realistically in terms of turning earth?
Well, I mean, you could, 3 to 5, I mean, you're going to engage, the fire department's going to engage, and the question is, do we start staffing up now to accommodate a future station in this budget cycle? So that'll be one of the things you'll start talking about this spring, but you're realistically 3 to 5.
So if I say 2026 to 2028, that's kind of the time frame.
So I would think.
Okay, all right. What else?
Clean it up, I mean, in the budget, somehow on code enforcement, on the properties that are, not code enforcement, but the properties that are in,
Blighted?
such, yes. Things that need to be either foreclosed on, I'm not sure, that's a whole process, I understand that, but the properties that, when you come into town, that's what you see first, we need to do something about.
And so is this an ongoing thing starting with the next budget cycle?
Oh, yes.
Okay. All right. What else are priorities for you? Or in the short term, immediate term? Rick?
I think along with Commissioner Peak's comments about blighted properties is if it's not a property issue, at least I'm talking about the entrance into the city from Stanford, you're coming in through construction area. And so whatever we can do to make that more pleasing. I mean, you're not going to get rid of buildings there. I mean, it's construction stuff, but if we can keep the sides of the roads looking nice or just whatever, that's the entrance to Pioneer Playhouse in downtown.
And Rick, where does that fall on the timeline?
Timeline?
Yeah. Is that something that needs to be done like in the next budget cycle or over a course of a couple of years? Or
Yeah, I'd probably say within, well, it's really kind of, it's over in Josh's court, you know, I think to maybe be contracted out with our mowing, but it's just cleanup. It could actually happen this summer if we approve the money.
Yeah. All right, so I'll put, if it's okay, 2023, 24 budget. Is that okay? Is that fair?
Yep.
I think that goes with like keep clean community, the old clean community we had in our area, Donna Fector, those that, I mean, you can see trash everywhere now. There's trash on everywhere. And I don't think they do, I don't know, I don't want to say that, but maybe work together better with recycling and see if they do any cleanup like they used to do. Would be helpful.
Yeah,
We've talked a little bit about, and you all need to, this is a good time for y'all to just think about this long-term, because it'll come back up. Is it time that we transit, so the state sets up the countywide solid waste coordinator position? Is it time that we lean into that structure and do one countywide garbage contract and let the county administer that? Now that we've not asked that of the county, we've had that hypothetical question with county judges. But I mean, that's a legitimate question. Is it time that we just have, because our density, other than parts of the southwestern part of the county is structured a bit higher density. So think about that as you go forward.
All right, what else?
From Bait to, I mean, I see kids walking every day from Bait, school, all the way up Wilderness Road. I'm not sure which part of town they're going to, but to make sure they have sidewalks.
Okay. And is this something that you would like to see addressed in what length of time will that take, do you think?
I think that goes in with the walkability of Danville, you know, so there's repairs that need to be done or just sidewalks in general.
So is this something that you're saying, like, I know you'll have some stuff
Years.
going on already, but if we say beginning with this budget year and on out through 2028? Okay.
Didn't the Danville City Schools get a Safe Schools grant? It was gonna take care of sidewalks?
We applied for a Safe Schools grant. I don't know what, their application was for, I can't remember what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, that,
but they got a big old, what, $300,000-$400,000 grant. And it was part of for Wilderness Road and for Bait and, Who was the superintendent? McDonald, I guess.
yeah.
We were all on Danville, we were all on Danville High School's front steps when we received that ceremonial check.
Okay, what else? Over the near term, intermediate term? It's a lot, yes, it is. Anything else that's just burning?
do we have any ARPA funds left?
I don't
And I'm not
know.
asking you, I'm asking
Yeah.
that question out loud to staff. That would be an item for consideration.
Now, on the utility side, with the projects you currently obligated, you will probably consume your ARPA money that you were allocated. I'm trying to think if there was another, I think that's gone, I would suggest. I think we send an email out summarizing those projected expenses the other day, and there was like a contingency of like $168,000 left. But, yeah,
Send all of us that?
I did, yes. Yeah,
Oh, you get it? Well, dang, I got it.
yeah, yeah.
You might want to resend it, because some of us
We'll,
didn't
Yeah,
get it.
we'll send
resend.
it again, yep.
Waiting to see.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, so here's what I would like to do, and if you have any thoughts as we work through this next step, we can add these, okay? This is a nice list. So we have 14 of them. And I'm not going to ask you to rank these. What I'm going to ask you to do is to help me figure out how critical these are. So, and which ones would be critical, which ones would be important, and which ones would be, I want to, wish we can. All right? Because I know that they're all important or you wouldn't have mentioned them, right? But everything can't be critical, everything can't be important. So let's start with doing the compensation package study. Is that, how many think that that's critical?
Yeah, retaining,
How many think it's important?
yeah, probably that one.
Gotcha. All right.
And along with that, I'm thinking about the evaluation and retention of that, because our retention rates, not all the departments have gone, gotten better.
Yep.
Got higher than some of them, and it's directly linked to the fact that we started looking at compensation in a more regional type of approach.
Sure.
Competitive, sorry, so. Well, we're competitive with surrounding areas.
Okay. All right. 3 critical, 2 important. All right. The second one, the feasibility of hiring an assistant city manager. How many think that that's critical?
Does Earl get a vote?
Earl, close your eyes.
Let me add this, though, for your all's thought, too, on that. You got to think about what the assistant city manager actually will do. And for me, the executive team of the city, so if we get a police issue, the executive team of the city should function like the assistant city manager, although with specific tasks. So your city engineer, your utility director, if I get a utility issue, I'm not going to work on that. I'm sending that to Marshall, right? So you got to really think, and so for me, adding the community liaison position gave me an opportunity to add that administrative person in that wing that will augment those loose end tasks that so often are hard to define what department they go to. And a lot of times those are community-based, community liaison-based. So there's subjects that are just not tied to, the public works or something. You follow me? And so I felt like and Mayor Paris asked this a lot, and in talking through it, I felt like adding that community liaison position for our government probably accommodated the need for the assistant city manager role. But now that's going to have to mature. And so what we would like to do is allow that position to adapt as the community continues to draw on that position, because for such a long time, people would have a question, they would just call the city engineer or Donna, the city clerk, or whoever that is, and that's fine, but this gives folks a center point to call besides a random department head that they just don't know how they fit in. So that if we're doing a good job out of that position, they have good relationships with businesses, and it becomes that link over time.
Okay. So let me ask you then, irrespective of what Earl says.
Correct.
I'm just kidding. No, so is this something that is critical? Important? I wish we could, hope we could, and would like to. Okay. So none at all? Is it it's just okay if you do or don't?
Yeah, I was excited when Melanie started and wanted to see how
Okay.
that developed.
That's
so.
fair. All right, so again, let me go back and redo this. Critical, important. Okay. Hope we can, wish we can. Okay. So I'm going to call that if this is all right, a 3 important and a 1 want to. And Jenny, how do you want me to reflect your desire on this?
I'll go on the bottom one.
Okay, all right, that's fine. I'm not trying to pigeonhole you. I'm just trying to get an idea of how many.
You sound so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. All right.
Rick on the bottom.
Well, I think
All right. So
I'll answer the question.
a new community landing page. Critical.
Yeah.
Critical landing
Oh,
page.
yeah, right now, yeah.
All 5. All right. The Aquatic Center budget process, development, strategic plan, build it, critical. 3, important, 3 to 2, all right? And we're not voting to do them or not do them.
You know what, we don't have neighborhood parks, and we need to probably add neighborhood parks into that discussion, that item too.
Under this, or is it its own item?
It's on Parks and Rec, but we oftentimes forget about, we put our focus on Millennium Park, which is our huge park. We've got to make sure we stay focused on the neighborhood parks as well. And compliments to Josh and to Earl, that they have begun to put a focus back on the neighborhood parks. But I think it needs to be in writing so we don't lose that.
15, neighborhood parks.
No.
Nope.
No. Whatever
Oh,
number-
add it to the strategic plan? Yeah, okay, got you.
Because we need to itemize, make sure those things are itemized in our discussions.
Got you.
I'm sorry.
That's all right, no, it's my fault. Sarah understood, I didn't.
And the fairgrounds is in there someplace?
Yep. All right.
They're probably implied in that statement, but I don't
Yep.
want to lose them.
That's good, thank you. Completion of the current projects by year's end, streetscape, the pickleball, tennis courts, critical, important, okay, 5 critical, all right.
Keep downtown.
All right. Strongly support the EDC through our budgeting action, critical, important, so that's 3-2. All right. Inventory, properties, inventory, facilities, cemetery facilities and status, critical. 2, 3, important.
With a new fire station we just moved into, we got to make sure we get our other first responders back up to above codes in their work areas as well.
Okay.
Is that the right term, above code?
All right. Communication, collaboration, cooperation among the community players, critical. The KSD campus with city playing some kind of role in the oversight or as a accountability partner. Critical, 1, important, 3, want to, wish to. Okay.
If they ever decided to do something, we want to definitely be first ones at the table.
All right. Training, ongoing training for city commission and staff. Critical. 2, important. 2. Want to. 221.
221.
All right, new fire station. Critical. Important. Want to. 4 critical, 4 important, and 1 want to. All right. Code enforcement, blight, critical. 3, important. 2 and 3. All right. Thank you. Entrance to the city from Stanford, beautifying, cleaning up, enhancing all that. Critical.
I thought that was the same one.
I thought we just did blight. Did I miss it? All right. Sarah, first mistake in the year. All of that in one thing? Sorry about that. See? That's what she does to me. Just kidding. All right. Then the last one are sidewalks. And I just use the Bait and Wilderness Road as examples of sidewalk criticality. How many of that's critical that you do? 2. How many important? 3. 2 and 3. All right.
And I noticed we didn't put on there, paying for the comprehensive plan. I guess, did we already pay for it? Seemed like we. What? Yeah.
We did have comp plan on another list.
Oh, okay.
That was what has to happen over the next, that needs to start
But
now.
that would be a budget item because, and it would be a big part of the communication line too.
All right,
And working
so-
together.
That's starting what, this next budget or this budget? Comp plan. Okay. All right, and you'll be completed in what, 12 months, 18 months? Okay. All right. Comprehensive plan update, critical? All right. What else? As we're going through this, I mean, this is a good list, hefty list. Is there anything else that needs to be added? Yeah. Okay. Everybody good? All right. So this is the last thing that I want to do. I want to go back and just go back through the journey and make sure that we've captured everything that was on the list and that we talked about and you're satisfied with it for today. All right. So the very first thing that we did, we talked about the vision for 15 to 20 years without any thoughts of budget implications or any of that. How do you see Danville over the next 15 to 20 years, right? Okay. Has your future changed since we started this conversation? All right.
We have less time to serve now.
Yes, you do. That's good. All right. So I asked the question, what are the immediate things that need to happen within the next year to help to achieve those goals? So we talked about the flume and the comp plan, the projects that are underway on budget on time, sewer plant, completion of streetscapes, EDA, EDC. Then we talked about Parks and Rec, cemetery, public works, building, the housing and homelessness issues, high-quality landing page, BCTC, business development, drug use prevention, treatment, communication between city, county, schools, economic development, all working together. Sidewalks, secure funding for the Trails Alliance, pool parks, needed discussion, all the players, Parks Master Plan. Jenny Rogers Community Center, move forward. Code enforcement, property issues and process, stormwater issues, and coordination of community events. So, That's a long list, right? So the next thing that we did I ask you to prioritize those things. So we have like your top 3. So the very top priorities for everyone, these are the number 1 that I got from you, were new jobs, large and small, communication, recs and trails, EDA, EDC. And then we captured what was your second responses, and then the third responses, and then some others. Okay, so the next job that we did is we talked about the things that your budget, the city's budget, directly impacts. And so we made a list of those. So you know that your position aside, the things that you have budgetary control over include these things. And then the last thing that we did is we wanted to look out from today a little bit further and say, as a launching pad to achieve the vision, what are the things that need to happen over the next 3 to 5 years or even a little longer? And let's put a timeline to it and let's decide what's critical and what's not. That's where we are. So the next step for us is to take this information, summarize it, then create the priority list and that sort of thing. We will come back to you, I think, Earl, it's 2 weeks? 3 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks from today. 2 weeks. And we will have another meeting. It'll be a little bit shorter. But what I want to do is I want to go through a framework that we're going to develop of what this is going to look like and where we think it's going to end or land. And we will want feedback from you. We'll send it out ahead of time. And we want feedback from you. And our question is, did we get it right? Did we hear what you were saying? Is there anything that needs to be changed, added? Because y'all might get home and get to thinking, I wish I'd said so-and-so. So there would still be time. I like a midpoint checkup. Once we complete that meeting, and like I said, that could be a short meeting or however long you want it to be, then the final meeting is coming and presenting the final product, okay, the final report. Does that sound reasonable?
Yeah, and you'll get that to us at least the weekend before our meetings.
We will
can work
do our
on it,
very
right?
best, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Not the day before or something?
No.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So we will try to get that to you earlier. All right? Okay. Is there anything else that you wish I had done, wish I had asked, wish I had thought of? Anything? Has this process been beneficial in trying to think through your future? Have I asked the right things so far? Okay. All right. Very good. With that, Mayor, I conclude, and you can do what is necessary to conduct your business.
Well, first of all, I want to say thanks for putting us through such a rigorous activity. I feel like I can go home now, and it's time for me to start my weekend. But I want to say
I give you
thanks.
permission.
Okay. I want to say thanks. Commissioners, anything else? Other comments, questions, concerns? As we were going through this process, I kept saying, oh, dang, he gonna make us take this list and say, okay, Josh, this is yours, Earl, this is yours, Marcia, this is yours. But no, I thought it was a good process. And look forward to the 23rd. And so if no other questions or comments, then the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn. Only that clock up, I think, is right.
So moved.
Okay, is there a second to adjourn?
Second.
I forgot to ask you over there any announcements anybody wanted to make before we do that, but any announcements?
I would like to introduce Sarah a little bit more.
Oh, okay, okay, all right.
So, Sarah was actually one of my first interns at KLC in 2005.
Ooh.
And she graduated, I mean, she can tell you all this, but I don't know it for her, with her master's in international diplomacy in national security, And so she went there to be an intern for a member of parliament in Canada. And then she went to St. Petersburg, Russia to study. And then she landed working with the Commandant of the Marine Corps. And so we have a position open, and Sarah and I have been in contact with friends for a long time. And I like to, every time we go to DC, we try to visit and that sort of thing. And so I called her and said, "You ready to come home?" She said, "Yes, I am. I'm here, I've explored the world, and I'd love to come work at KLC." So I'm so thankful to have her, and she is a real asset to the team. And most of you knew Bobby Bryant. Bobby retired about a year and a half ago, and Sarah is not a replacement. Sarah is her own person. But boy, it sure is cool to have another team member. So I'm just thankful to have her. Sarah, you want to say anything?
I'm happy to be here.
Thank you very much.
Did we extend a welcome to Danville to you this morning? Did we extend a welcome to Danville to you? Well, let's say welcome to Danville to you as well.
The last time I
And,
was there was in 2000 for the vice presidential debate.
oh, wow, okay. Well, I know you spent a lot of money if you came for the vice presidential debate, right? So,
Glad to be back.
that's nice. Well, again, welcome. We have a motion in the midst of, but thank you for doing that for us. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed?